Hello, world. You may be thinking to yourself tonight, have I reached the beginning of the end? Well, it seems indeed you have, because we are the three alphas named Omega, and we're here for you. How are we doing tonight, guys?
I'm doing just great, Parrish. How are you?
I'm doing phenomenal, feeling great. How about you, Chaz?
Fuck you.
That was
All right.
that was quite the intro that you had there, Parrish. Thank you for that.
Working on it for days,
I can
and I
tell.
think I pulled it off quite well.
Yeah, it was.
I do.
Splendid.
That was probably the best one yet.
What's on? It was the 20th take, folks. You don't see that, but the 20th take. Nailed it. Let's go.
Okay, well, since we started off with such a wonderful intro, let's backpedal a little bit and apologize for some of the mistakes we may or may not have made last week. How about that? Sound good? All right, well, let me start. I'm going to start, okay? Serious time.
Yeah.
Everybody, I have to apologize for Parrish for looking like an Italian clown last week with his pastel-colored shirt and tie. So I'm sorry for Parrish for looking like a clown. And I'd also like to apologize for Chaz because towards the end of the show, he called us retarded, and I didn't like that. So I apologize for Chaz for calling us retarded. How about you, Parrish?
Because we don't use that word anymore.
No.
Jeez.
Snowflakes.
You know, the thing that the biggest thing that that I felt from last week that we really failed on was, I mean, I felt good about myself, but Chris really, when it came to the beard segment, he bloviated and he bragged quite a bit about his glorious beard, which, you know, really, he was born with beard genes. So, I mean, I don't know what there is to brag about. He didn't have anything to, I mean, it's not like he did anything to achieve that. He was just born. And I believe I was the one that brought up the beard thing. And to be honest, by the end of that segment, I regretted even bringing it up.
Yeah, he was talking about how he felt like less of a man, and you could have just been a Spartan.
Right.
This is Sparta.
Yeah, I mean, but I've received probably 200-300 emails throughout the week from listeners who were just really annoyed by that. So anyway, whatever, we'll work on it. We try not to make this about ourselves. We want to make it about the viewers. So I just wanted to apologize for Chris on that. Also, we should probably talk about Chaz. The swearing. We try and have a family show. We try and make it something that that everyone can enjoy. And when he drops those verbal bombs, it hurts my soul, and I know that it hurts your soul too, viewing public. So we're gonna work on that. We're gonna get better. I'm sorry.
What's all this we stuff? Well, first, it was horrible enough to mention again. I need to apologize to everyone about your tie. That I kept hoping at some point you would hang yourself with it. It just didn't happen. And Chris, I don't know what the deal is, but the whole never breaking eye contact with the camera, I felt like you were staring into my soul, and it creeped me out. Yeah. I'm sorry. Sorry.
I second. Creep me out.
All right, so moving on. We got some interesting news that has happened recently, so I'm going to delve right into it right now. First up on the list, an Apple security chief was indicted on bribery charges in Santa Clara County, California. Can you guess why? Has anyone heard about this?
No. Was it trying to turn people into zombies?
No, that's close, but no. So
My bad.
As we all know, California is not too friendly when it comes to firearms and firearm ownership, and specifically concealed carry permits. So what is a chief security officer for Apple to do when he needs to get 4 of his employees concealed carry permits? Bribe the Santa Clara County Police. So that's what he did. He promised to donate allegedly offered to donate 200 iPads to the Santa Clara County Sheriff's Office. I think I said police, Sheriff's Office, for 4 concealed weapons permits for his employees. So him and 2 officers are now indicted on bribery charges.
Oh, whoa. Officers too?
2 officers, yeah.
So that means 2 people went, screw it. All right.
Yeah.
Get your permit.
So I just want to know. I want to know how. I would have loved to have been a fly on that wall. Like, how did that conversation go?
No kidding.
Listen, guys. Confidentially, I got to get my boys these gun permits. You like iPads? Your family like iPads? We could get you some iPads.
They got that Retina display, bro. You know
that Retina display. Yeah.
But see, here's the thing. So there was a very strong point with this. In certain states, the sheriff pretty much has broad discretion over the issuance of concealed carry permits.
That's what I was getting ready to ask. I'm like, what does the sheriff's office have to do?
Well, in these states, so in where you live, where Parrish lives, I'm assuming you're a shall issue, right, Parrish? Shall issue state?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And where I live, shall issue. So that means as long as there is nothing legally preventing you from being able to have a concealed carry permit, if you apply for one, you will get one. There's states like California, we call it California, some of us, New York, other states.
The People's Republic of California.
There you go. Where it is, May issue, I think is the other one, where basically the chief of police or the sheriff can decide whether or not you get one. So if you apply, say you feel you need one because you live in a bad area, you want to protect your family as you're driving around, whatever, you can be like, well, you know what? I don't think you need one, so too bad.
So, like, you could be a convicted felon of rape, murder, or whatever, but as long as you know the sheriff, he says it's okay, you can have a firearm?
Well, that's a whole different story, and not really. If you have any felony, I don't know how it works in California because I don't live there. I'm sure that if you have felonies, you can't unless you get it.
I think
I'm going to look it up.
I think that's federal, actually. I think that if you have a felony, because that's like a federal thing.
Yeah, that is with the form 4475, I think it is, or whatever.
Something like that. Yeah. But then you also have, I'm not sure how that plays into some states, because I think some states, like I know Florida right off the bat
and stuff.
Yeah, is doing like forgiveness type stuff. So like replenishing voting rights and gun rights and stuff like that for felons. So
yeah, I mean that's because like out here it's really weird. It's like you'd be driving down the road and like there's like every other intersection you see one of them like yard signs, like campaign signs or whatever. Mm-hmm. It says conceal CTR license or conceal or LTC license to carry.
Yeah,
and then a phone number.
Yeah,
basically you call the number so you can take a class and that's how you get your license.
And that's how it happens in all of the free states of America. But unfortunately, there's some states where freedom just isn't really an option anymore. So, but what's funny is that all this is stemming from a probe, apparently, to the sheriff's 2018 re-election campaign, where apparently he was using these things as just like bartering tools for getting donations and votes and whatever else So anyways, moving on.
You get an iPad and you get an iPad.
But I've got to get votes.
Yeah. Okay, so moving on. Chaz, this one's kind of for you. San Antonio is being eyed for the U.S. Space Force Command HQ. So congratulations, Chaz. You might be close to HQ for U.S. Space Force Command.
San Antonio, that's in Texas.
That sure is in Texas. Yep. So
Excellent.
there's actually, it's not like it's
Nailed
in the final stages. It's been whittled down from about 50 cities. There are 5 left, I believe, and these are the ones that I found. There's, in addition to, I think it was Port San Antonio or something like that. It's a base. There's Peterson Air Force Base in Colorado. There's Redstone Army Airfield in Alabama. There's Patrick Air Force Base in Florida. And there's, I don't know how to pronounce this, but Offutt, I think, Air Force Base in Nebraska. But so far, it looks like San Antonio is the one all these senators are preferring. So final decision in January.
Weather.
Yeah, that too.
I'll tell you this, though, because it actually exists out here. It's really eerie to like driving down the interstate. You'll be heading down I-20 going through the Midland, Odessa area. Mm-hmm. And legit, there's a sign that says Midland Air and Spaceport. As you're driving down the interstate. It's like, you got to process that for a second. Spaceport.
Yeah, that kind of
like
reminds
a
me.
Plane there one day? You know, I mean, I don't know. I don't know the history behind it, but it
kind of reminds me of something you'd see like in the Jetsons or Star Wars or something like that, where you see a bunch of like spacecraft just taking off in all directions from that area where the spaceport is. So
here's my question.
Go ahead.
On the whole Space Force thing. One thing that I've mulled over is I wonder if Joe Biden is confirmed in January, you think does he keep the Space Force?
Have you ever seen the federal government cancel anything?
Yeah, no, yeah, that's true. That's true.
But he might do it just to spite. Yeah, or just to spite.
That's what I was
Trump,
thinking.
you know? Yeah. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of that going on, so we'll see.
See.
Next up.
Oh, interesting.
Next up. This one is probably my personal favorite from this week's news stories. Man fined for breaking French COVID lockdown to, quote, smash a guy's face in. So get this. In France right now, they're in a lockdown, and there is a certain legal process for being able to do things like go to a doctor, even exercise, things like that. You have to fill out a declaration that's known as a attestation, right? So he filled it out, right? So he thought he was doing the proper legal thing. He filled out his name, address, time he left his home, but there's a little box that you have to tick with the legitimate reason. And his reason in French, let me see if I can pronounce this, it is aller péter la gueule en mec. And apparently that translates in British English to smash a guy's face in. But in American English, it translates to go blow someone's head off, which I prefer. That's so much better. It's just so much better. So apparently officers found this guy. He was hiding behind like a parked car like late at night or something like that. And when they asked him what he was doing, he explained that he filled out the forms and everything. And when they looked, sure, he did. But he was going to blow someone's head off. And they said that wasn't a valid reason, so he was fined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Can I just
did he get the guy?
No.
Yeah.
Nope, he was found lurking behind a car late at night.
Well, boys,
just write him a fine and then leave him there, or did they take him downtown, or how does it work?
To be continued, maybe. We'll see. There's a guy out there with a face that's going to be smashed in, so let's wait and see.
Let's hope he got what's coming.
Yeah, I wonder what the guy did.
We'll keep you apprised as the story unfolds.
But
boys, just real quick, can we just take this moment to grab whatever cup you've got, whatever you're drinking tonight, boys, and let's raise our glasses. Okay? Can we just raise our glasses? Here's to America, where we don't have to ask permission to go kick someone's ass.
Yeah.
Unless you're in New York.
Yeah. I said America.
Can't have parents over for Thanksgiving. The governor can.
That is delicious. Yeah, you don't have to fill up any attestations to smash somebody's face in. Yeah, that's just great.
Like freedom.
So
what else, Chris?
Next up, and this is kind of interesting too. A helicopter pilot was flying around in just rural Utah, out in the desert, and he found something kind of strange. And I'm actually going to kind of pull this up over in our little browser window here. Let me second scroll down. Get rid of this. So there's this metal, chrome, stainless steel looking monolith that is 10 to 12 feet high. Think 2001 A Space Odyssey monolith, just in this remote location in the desert in Utah. Nobody knows what it is yet. It could be some artist that put it out there. It could be aliens. I'm starting to lean towards aliens. I'm sure people like Joe Rogan would agree with me.
He had a fit over that thing, man.
Okay.
He did.
Leave it. Walk away. It's still 2020. Anything can happen. Just ignore it for 2 months.
We haven't gotten aliens.
Just a month and a half. Yeah. Exactly. We got like what, 5 weeks, 6 weeks left.
Yeah. We got some UFOs. So
bad
I mean,
stuff's gonna
aliens
happen.
could be coming.
Okay. All right.
I looked into this. I did hear about this story. It's very, very interesting.
Oh, so you know some of this. You have some background information.
A little bit. I know someone, they found it on, I think, some Reddit or 4chan troll or something. Okay. Someone found it and backtracked. I think it was with using Google Earth. You can go back in time, and they found its location.
Okay.
And they found that it's been there for at least 4 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
The plot
it's been
thickens.
Sitting there for 4 years unnoticed. Well, I saw a video of it, and in the video with some guys looking at it, it kind of got close to it. It's actually in 3 sides. It looks, in the photo that I saw of it, it looks like 4-sided, but then they go up and it's actually like it's 3-sided.
Oh,
but
okay.
You could kind of see like rivets on the end where it was like built. So I mean, not to crush anybody's hopes and dreams, but I don't think it's some Area 51 stuff. But it has been there for like at least 4 years.
Well, what I gotta say though is props. If it was just some artist that decided to do this, props to him for doing that and just waiting for it to discovered however long down the road. That's commitment. So hey, I congratulate whoever you are out there. Go ahead, contact us. We'll have you on the show. We'd love to talk to you, man. Just
really.
The dudesomega at gmail.com. Send us an email.
Yeah, speaking of which, just because Parrish touched on this, I actually went through and I got the coordinates and threw them down. I just sent them over to you, Chris. I don't know if you can pop them up so people can go look for themselves on Google Earth.
Yeah, let's see really quick here. Let me copy these quick and see what I can do with this. So, and I got another story really quick after I throw these coordinates up here for everybody. Second.
There you go.
We're going to go to...
There it is.
Oh, did you find the link or something?
That's the picture.
Oh, that's the picture. Okay, cool. So let's just
go
screenshot
to Google Earth.
Google.com here. Let me see if I can... Oh shoot, it's not going to let me. Okay, we'll post this in the description, these coordinates, so you guys can check that out later because it's not going to work with me. So anyways, moving on to the last story.
Sorry, tangent.
No worries. Save the best for last, right? So 7 people died. Really sad, but not the reason why. From drinking hand sanitizer after running out of alcohol at a party in Yakutsk, Russia. So apparently,
wow,
these people, and it was a bunch of people, 7 people died. They were all at a party, they ran out of alcohol, and what are a bunch of drunk people going to do? Go for the hand sanitizer. I know I've thought that, oh man, so many times. Just, you're not drunk enough, it's only 11 o'clock.
It looks like vodka.
Yeah.
And
Put vodka in it.
We're living in the times of COVID, so they got plenty of that sitting around.
Exactly. You were just making out with that kind of skeezy looking person. I won't say dude or girl over in the corner. You don't know. You got your beer goggles on. You got your vodka goggles on.
The lights are low.
Yeah, you might want to keep getting drunk and also get rid of any fear that you might have the coof. So why not just sip on a little bit of that? But it's a bad thing, and I will say this is the disclaimer to anybody out there that's thinking about trying it. I was not serious about drinking hand sanitizer because you will die, okay?
You'll die.
2 people died before emergency services even arrived. 6 others were medevaced, that's flown by helicopter, to a hospital. Of the 6, 4 also died and 2 are currently fighting for their life in the hospital. So the regional state prosecutor said, the poisoning took place as a result of drinking hand sanitizer, and authorities in Russia are again pleading with locals to refrain from drinking hand sanitizer.
And we will do the same here at the Omega Dudes.
Hopefully.
We do not condone this behavior.
That's why the song wasn't Sip, Sip, Sipping on Some Sanny, because that is not good. That's not good, man. Hey, I actually had, back in my EMS days, I actually dealt with hand sanitizer.
Oh, no.
One occasion.
Do you have a story you can share?
Let me tell you. So this was that late night antics in the emergency rooms. Woo! I mean, you couldn't make this stuff up. I got better stories than they got on on the TV shows and stuff. Forget those guys.
Oh man, let's hear it.
So
Story time with Peter. I like it.
So we had this guy who was, he was he was an alcoholic and homeless and all of this stuff. And he there's a lot to this story. There's a lot to this story that actually involved me almost beating up a security guard at the hospital. Truly. But anyway, that's neither here nor there. This man, it was like 30 degrees out that night, and we had a directive that if we picked up anybody who was living on the street or homeless, when the temperature was below freezing, we had to, no matter what was wrong with them or if nothing was wrong with them, we had to take them to the ER just so, if nothing else, they could lay in a bed and warm up for a little bit before they went back out into the cold.
It's not a bad thing, though.
No, it saves lives for sure. Just to, if nothing else, give them some coffee and let them warm up, thaw out, and then release them. I mean, it has.
I disagree with that entirely.
Well, there's good and bad.
100%.
There's good and bad to it.
Tell your story.
It does fill up beds in the ER and there's sick people come in and stuff like. But anyway, it's neither here nor there.
Okay.
This guy we brought
about it.
What's that?
Said I could spend a whole show talking about it.
Yeah, it's there's a lot of ethical issues surrounding that go both ways and stuff. But anyway, we had a guy one night that we brought in. He was drunk, couldn't even stand up. So we tossed him in the truck and took him down to the ER. And long story short, the guy ended up staying in the ER, which, like I said, almost ended up with me beating a tar out of some security guard who got fresh about not wanting him to be there. But anyway, this guy, they put him in a room, in a bed, and this guy, when the custodial staff came through, changing the beds and stuff, so they roll this big, huge laundry hamper that's probably
gigantic.
3 or 4 feet square, right? Yeah, They throw all the linens in it. He jumped into this laundry hamper and pulled the sheets up, piled them up over himself. He rides the laundry hamper for 15 minutes. They just pushed him through the hospital.
Dude, that's disgusting.
Yeah, until they had no idea he was in there until he got to another floor and had been sitting there for a while, I guess, and he figured the coast was clear. It was actually the maternity ward, the maternity wing. And this dude starts stealing hand sanitizer off the wall because it's just in a hospital. There's hand sanitizer just periodically on the walls that people just push and get some. And this dude's collecting hand sanitizer off the wall as he's going down, and they caught him doing that, and he was down in hand sanitizer.
So they're pushing the laundry cart around, and they just hear from in the sheets that gluk, 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 gluk.
What struck me when I heard that story was they didn't notice that the laundry hamper felt 150, 200 pounds heavier.
Yeah, no kidding. Right, no kidding. How much laundry's in that thing?
Exactly. Like, are these sheets soaking wet? Golly, what's going on?
So,
but yeah, it's fun stuff.
I just wanted to throw this out here too, because this was on my news thing, but I didn't really want to talk about it too much because it's a happy ending. But Guitar Center was filing, or has filed, for Chapter 11 bankruptcy. Just to all the musicians out there, because I know all of us have a long history with Guitar Center. They're not closing, they're just restructuring. They're shifting a lot of their stuff to online, which is pretty much just, I mean, let's admit it, keeping up with the times. And COVID's just kind of forced them to update. So if you've heard that, don't despair. I know I love their practice rooms as well. They're going to be around still. So
good. That's good news.
Yeah.
That's good news. I mean, the whole thing's, but good news that they're sticking around and music will continue.
And the big thing with it, though, is that I get online shopping for most things, but things like instruments, for example, you kind of have to play them to understand if you like them. You know what I mean? Like, you got to get the feel of this. I mean, especially when it comes to guitars. We're all guitarists here. Everything. There's so many variables when it comes to picking out a guitar. So I thought I liked Fenders to begin with. Turns out I'm a Gibson guy. That's just, I didn't know any better. So
I wanted one of those ESP. I don't remember. I think it's an EC1000, the one that looks like the Les Paul. Mm-hmm. I've wanted one of those forever, and I've almost bought one online several times because I want the silver burst color.
Okay.
Up until I went to a Guitar Center and I actually played it for the first time, and it was just I hated it.
Yeah.
Because it was nothing like so. That's what I used to do, though. I mean, it's like every summer when school would let out. We were summer kids in Florida. What'd you do? You knocked on people's doors and you tried to get them to mow their lawn or something for some scratch, so you could head up to Guitar Center so you could go buy some new gear.
Yeah. Well, hell, how else are you supposed to replace your strings?
Yeah. I'll tell you what, man. There's nothing, man. Now that it's wintertime, I'm winterizing my my mower and stuff. But man, golly, and so it's kind of nice getting the break over the winter from yard work. But dude, there's nothing more manly in my mind. Well, there's few things more manly in my mind than mowing your lawn, just taking care of yard work, boys.
Yeah, it's one of my least favorite things. Just. I guess on the list of least, going lower or higher. I don't know. On a scale of sweeping to folding laundry, I'd say it's just under folding laundry. I don't mind doing laundry.
I can agree with that.
I hate folding laundry, but it's not so much the yard work; it's the mowing the lawn. It's because I live in Florida, and man,
hot.
Mowing lawns in Florida during the summer sucks because it rains and it's hot and it's sweltering and humid and my mower's just getting all gunked up from wet grass and I hate it.
Yeah, I remember that. I remember those days.
Yeah.
I did it for 2 years, man. I worked in
I forgot about that.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, that's right.
We were roommates and I forgot about that.
Hey, you had a hell of a tan though.
Yeah, I did. That was some good times.
Yeah.
I was dark back then.
I need a riding mower, man. I'm just thankful, like how much like mowers have progressed over the years, because it's like I still have a push mower. I've got 4 acres to mow, and I'm still using a push mower.
4 acres, and you're using a push mower?
I'm poor.
Is it at least self-propelled or?
Yes.
Okay.
That's what
at least there's that. At least
I didn't know those existed. I got this off of Craigslist, and I saw it. I'm like, what is that? They're like, it's self-propelled. I'm like, is that what the other goofy lever's for? They're like, yeah.
Nice.
Trying it, and it's just like, I would have died trying this if I didn't have that. So, invented the self-propelled mower. Good job.
Yeah, see, mine's just a push mower. I don't have a huge yard. It's only like, I don't know what, a 30 acres, like that. But it's all right. I just don't let it get too long, so otherwise it's hell. But
yeah.
Yeah.
You got to as technology for the automatic, like battery powered mowers. Have y'all seen that? The robot mowers?
Yeah.
Yeah, Chaz, you got to get into one of those, bro. I mean, there's no
but
way.
how do they
cut
work?
your
Just said
yard,
I'm poor.
Yeah, yeah.
So, okay.
I mean, 10 years maybe.
Let me ask, because you bring this up and I've seen them. Do any of you know anybody that has one of those?
Nah.
Okay, see, that's the problem. We need to figure out somebody that does, because I thought Rumbas would be great, and then I got a Roomba, and it's pretty good, but it's not all it's cracked up to be at the same time, and I figure a lawn mowing Roomba would be even worse, so...
Well, yeah. I have a Roomba, and I absolutely love it. It was a game changer for us.
Was it?
Yeah, it was a game, because we don't like sweeping and vacuuming. And being able to take that chore out of our lives and doing it way more often than we did it, if once a week, if we were lucky. Now this thing goes every morning at 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
I don't even have to think about it.
How's yours at finding the dock?
Well, this is a funny story. So like a little sensor on top, it sticks up about, maybe, where was it at? Sensor sticks up about maybe that much, quarter, eighth of an inch or something, which is just so it fits underneath the TV stand, but just. And so one day it came in, and it was just the way it was moving around, it knocked that sensor off the top. So now it can't find home, and it's just got a couple little wires dangling out of a hole in the top. And I haven't sent it back in to get it replaced yet. It's still under warranty. But yeah, so it doesn't find the dock at all. It was about 50-50 before that. Sometimes it would find it, sometimes not.
So mine finds the dock, but it finds it, and it's like it doesn't know what to do once it gets to the dock. So like it'll get there, and it'll keep like up, slightly wrong angle, back up, nope, slightly wrong the other way, and it just keeps doing the same thing over and over. So
yeah,
overall, it's an okay thing. Anybody out there that wants to get a Roomba, here's what they're good for. One, if you don't have carpet, if you just have like hardwood or tile or whatever, they're good for that. They're good if you have a short-haired pet or multiples. Long-haired, the little basket thing clogs up pretty quickly, and you have to empty it multiple times through one cycle. But if you just want something, if you sweep like once every week or 2 weeks, and you want something to just kind of tidy up, it's all right. I would like to try one of the mopping ones, though, because that would be cool as well if they worked.
That seems cool.
Well, aren't there like different levels of them? I mean, I like every manufacturer, they've got the cheap one, like the entry level one, and they're really nice.
Sure.
I mean, well, what's the big difference between the
really nice? The really nice vacuum ones have an auto empty feature, like so when they get to the dock, it automatically empties into this little like bin type thing. Think like those pet like litter boxes that clean themselves. They have like the little basket or repository or whatever where the stuff goes into. So those are like the better ones. The mopping ones I couldn't really tell you because I don't know anybody that has one. Don't have any experience, but they sound cool.
Seems like maybe a gimmick, but just because like I feel like it's probably a gimmick, just kind of going on the robot lawnmower thing, just because I don't know anybody that has one. I know a lot of people that have, robot vacuums, but not the mopping ones. So that makes me think maybe it's a gimmick, but maybe it just hasn't caught on yet. I don't know.
Well, just like anything, it'll keep improving.
Might have to follow that one up.
Yeah, we should do a segment. We'll research and do a segment on the lawn mowing ones. Maybe we can find somebody that has one and see what they think. So
yeah,
Chaz, man.
Yes.
Chaz, man.
We got a little bit of time for you to maybe get into some. Excuse you. Some movie news. How about that? You're our resident nerd expert.
Yeah. Let's nerd out real quick, boys.
Yeah, what's going on? What's going on this week, Chaz? What's coming up that I can be excited for? I need some excitement in my life.
Well, I know we talked about it before, but have you started watching the new season of The Mandalorian?
So I've watched the first 2 episodes. What was the first episode? Was the one where they had what was the dragon called? Whatever the dragon was called.
Crab dragon.
Yeah, the Krat Dragon. I've watched that, and I started watching the second episode, and then I got interrupted by my job, and I haven't been able to get back into it yet. So it doesn't matter if you spoil it for me, because frankly, it doesn't. I'll watch it anyways, and I'll be just as happy. But
Well, it's not really a spoiler per se, but episode 4, as it's just blown up all over the forums, all online.
Oh,
They had a goof where one of the crew are in the shots. So like the first 5 minutes of the show, they've got this action sequence. They're running through this Imperial base, and then you see this guy in blue jeans just standing in the corner. They're all like, oh, and there's this guy in blue jeans.
Was
like,
that the uniform for the base? It was just like blue jeans and a t-shirt.
It's actually a bunch of fans have gone through and they've done some computer images of like Star Wars action figures. Jeans guy, and it's got like half a guy on the other side of a wall.
Yeah,
it's just funny.
So I have to, excuse me, I have to hand it to these guys, because when I read about this, I think you were the one that told me about this. It was a pretty dark, and actually here, let me pull it up really quick here. It was a pretty dark picture originally, but they went through and brightened it up so you could see here. So like the original
Probably
picture was
dark.
right here. I'm showing it to everybody right now on our little screen. And it was dark, and you can kind of see in the background. So you had some really like eagle-eyed viewers, because the brightened up picture is like, boom, there it is right there. So good on them for finding that.
Yeah. I think they should. I think that Disney needs to just like embrace this and have like a super limited run of like, key grip #2 action figures with real key grip action.
The stage Mandalorian.
Yeah.
It's funny though, because that happens in so many shows and movies.
Yeah.
That's just kind of been like a thing that people hunt for nowadays. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Jurassic Park, for example.
Yeah, and,
Jurassic Park, in the scene where the kids run into the kitchen and the velociraptors open the door for the first time. As they're walking through the door, you can see one of the puppeteer's hands kind of reach up to like grab one of their tails to like steady it or something. It's just blatantly obvious. Yeah. There it is.
And Game of Thrones too.
Yep.
Final season, episode 4. That coffee cup.
Yep.
Starbucks cup.
Starbucks cup.
I'll stand in defense of Game of Thrones in this case. There's nobody ever said that there wasn't a Starbucks in Westeros. Okay,
that's true. I didn't see any other paper products being used, but hey, never know. What was the name of what, Chaz? What are you looking up?
They had a special name for that, and I forgot.
Oh, okay, all right.
The one, while Chaz is looking that up, the one that sticks in my mind, like that I always thought of, was in the movie Braveheart. So there was one of the huge battle scenes. Is like, I loved it because it's probably my favorite movie, maybe my favorite movie of all time. It's a good
movie. That's up there with like The Patriot and
yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
There was one point where Mel Gibson's there, like after the battle, and they're all covered, splattered with blood, and they're, they've won the day, right? And they're like, "Yeah, we've got to rout them, and William, we've got a victory." And you can see, and it's so perfect. It's like, okay, so if I'm William Wallace talking, then my commemorative 1911 over my shoulder there is the guys in the background that are still fighting, because the battle's still wrapping up, right? And it's like an English soldier and a soldier and a Scotsman, and it's perfectly over his shoulder right here. And they're acting like they're fighting like I would imagine like a Louis C.K. bit where he's like all like sad and frumpy and stuff, and they're just like they're standing there like
a couple of LARPers that like don't want to get hit in the face.
Like, crossing swords like,
oh no, it's too hard, not in the face.
And it was so bad because it was like it wasn't really, it was still in focus, I think, and it was so obvious. It was like right here over his shoulder while he's talking. I was like, oof.
It's like they didn't realize that the guy that they called action on the shot yet, so they were just screwing around in the background. And then when they went and saw the premiere, they're like, "Oh God, no! Oh no, we're never getting called to be extras again."
That was his only screen time. Look, maybe I'll just do like this. And
It wouldn't be funny if we were like limp wristing it in the background for a while.
oh, yeah. And then, of course, you've got, Disney is one of
oh my God,
for these flubs in their old cartoons.
Dick on the box.
Yeah, Little Mermaid. I had that. One of my friends had mentioned it when I was like in middle school, I think, and I at my house I still had the original VHS like puff pack that they used to come in folding boxes, and sure enough, there was a very phallic castle tower on the cover of it. Yep. And Aladdin, that's one I also didn't believe, and sure enough, when they're on, and I know this by heart because I watched it so many times as a kid looking for it, but they're on the balcony, and it's right when the tiger, I can't remember its name, Raja, there you go, is kind of like growling at Aladdin. He's like, whoa, girl, and it goes down to the genie, and they say something to with the genie in the carpet, and as soon as it goes back up to Aladdin, if you're listening, definitely says, take off your clothes. There's something before it that is kind of mumbled, but take off your clothes is clear as day. And that's on the VHS. I don't know if it's still in like the, remastered DVDs or whatnot, HD versions, but on the VHS, it sure is there.
Yeah. The biggest one I think was, well, for me at least, and I did the same thing. I watched it over and over and over.
Dude, this was before the internet.
King.
That's all you had. Yeah.
You just heard it they said sex in The Lion King. What? Yeah.
It was it out in the leaves.
It was when Simba drops down and the leaves go and then they blow away. But for a split second it says sex in the leaves.
And what was the one?
I want to see it.
Yeah, the Rescuers, wasn't it? I think I never really watched that movie too much, but I heard that when they're falling, there's a window for like a couple frames where there's like a topless woman, and sure enough, it
was the time when in the Rescuers when they jumped, they were taking the flight, so like the seagull was or the albatross, whatever he was flying them to where they needed to go, and he takes off and he does this dive, and he's diving down this building, and you just see the building like windows rushing up, and there's it's impossible to see it unless you look at it frame by frame. There's like one or two frames there that one of the windows has a topless woman.
For everyone listening, I just want to kind of lay this out. Most of you probably, I'm sure there's a lot of you that watch VHSs, but a lot of you probably never have, right? You couldn't go frame by frame like you can go with modern digital media. It was play, pause. So you really,
if you had a really nice VCR, you had a slow button.
Right. Yeah. So young, 12-year-old Parrish, Chris, and Chaz are all in their own houses at one point in time, going back and forth, and then you find it, and then success, you find it, and holy hell, it actually is there, and it's all stuff you couldn't check on the internet. You couldn't go look and see. There was no Snopes that you could go check this out. It was word of mouth, and a lot of the times back then, your friend would say something that was complete BS. You'd find out later. But
it was just what your pervy friends at school said, like, yeah, bro, there's a naked woman in the get out of here.
Well, like in I don't know if you guys, going back to Little Mermaid, the end scene where Ursula's marrying Prince Eric, and same deal. It's got the seagull and the birds that swoop down to attack her, just that winds up flying between her legs. As they're diving down, as they get closer, you can see her, Eric, and the priest all looking up at him, and the priest is standing there with an erection.
Oh, no, I didn't even know about that one.
Wow.
Well, gonna have
Original version, not in the edited version.
I'll have to pull out the old VHS player. I don't have one.
VHS out, it's there.
Yeah.
Bird Attacks just did it for him, I guess.
Go see how much that stuff goes for on eBay.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
No doubt.
Little Mermaid. If the new one's still in plastic, in perfect condition in a box, we're talking like 16 grand.
Whoa.
Yeah. I had a guy we were selling when I was a kid, man. I mean, this is 20 years ago. We had a yard sale and we were selling a bunch of our old VHSs and we had all the Disney classics, like original. And a guy gave us like $50 for it was I think it was The Little Mermaid. Yeah, he gave us $50 for it. We weren't asking, we were like 25 cents on it or something.
Yeah.
And he was like, I'll give you $50. We're like,
I'm sure I'll have to call my parents, but I'm sure somewhere around there we still have all of those old VHS. We had them all. I have younger brothers, so we had all that stuff. But, so what about any new video game news, Chad? Chaz, anything like that?
Nothing I was really excited about. But I mean, while we're touching on it though,
yeah,
let's go around and say, because we've all played a few games in our. What do you feel is the most underrated game the last 20 years?
We're gonna keep with the nostalgia. I like it.
Yeah.
The most underrated game. Okay. You got one? Give me a second to think.
I got one.
Okay, go.
NFL Blitz, son.
Ooh.
Never played it.
Bro, NFL Blitz. Okay, the thing about NFL Blitz, it was NFL. It was a football game, real teams and all this stuff. But holy cow, it was so. The thing about it was so violent. There's no way a game like this could be made today. Like it was the real players.
Oh yeah, see, I was gonna say the only sport game I really ever played was NBA Jam.
Dude,
it was take NBA Jam, mix it with like some WrestleMania and animation.
It was like it was
part WrestleMania and you're power bombing them, you know?
It was part WrestleMania.
Oh, I know of that game. I do know of it. Yeah, where you could hit people, but instead of tackling them, you were doing power bombs and stuff like that. Yeah,
it was,
or the ball carrier would explode and fumble the ball.
It was so satisfying just to freaking go up and suplex someone after you tackle them and just wreck them. It was so satisfying.
Well, here's a fun fact.
Okay.
They may or may not be bringing that game back.
Oh.
I don't. I'll believe it.
Kind of like the XFL.
The reason it went away was because EA signed an exclusive rights deal with the NFL, which is why all the other games went away. The Joe Montana games, the Quarterback Club, the NFL 2K games. Mm-hmm. That's why all that went away, and all you have is that. Which is why they've been repackaging the same thing for 15 years. Now they can't. That contract is over. 2K has a game coming out next year. And if the NBA saga is any inkling of what's coming out, they're going to crush Madden, and Madden probably won't exist much longer.
Okay. So, Chaz, what's your underrated game?
It's old school, and I'm actually more of an RPG guy.
Go for it.
It's called Beyond Two Souls.
I've never heard of that one.
Chaz going with the deep tracks.
It is. It's actually more like playing a movie, because that's what it is. The main character is played by Ellen Page. The main antagonist is Willem Dafoe. It's just cool as fuck.
I think I've heard about that.
She's
fighting Ellen Page game.
And learns to work with them to overcome an objective, and it gets pretty trippy about halfway through it.
Huh. Okay.
What you got, Chris?
Sounds good. Okay, so I have a couple, and the only reason I have a couple is because the first one, I don't really know if it's underrated so much or not, but Soldier of Fortune, did you guys ever play that? It was a first-person shooter game, and I loved it because when you shot people, it would actually blow off body parts. It was one of the first games that really had realistic reaction to being shot, and probably
We talking like mid
exaggerated.
'92?
No, this was I think it was post 2000, but it was a first person shooter, and yeah, you had like missions and stuff. You're just like any other first person shooter campaign thing. But when you shot people, like if it was a pistol, it would just have like blood holes or whatever. If they fell on the ground, you kept shooting their face, it would blow their face off eventually. But if you had a shotgun, you could blow their head off, blow their arm off, blow their leg off, and like they'd still be trying to react and crawl away or whatever. Pretty intense, but it caught a lot of flack, as you can imagine. But my more obscure, underrated video game was called Tribes, I believe. It was a game for PlayStation 2 when PlayStation 2 first came out. And the only reason that I know about it is because it was one of the first games I knew of that used the online like gaming where you could play PlayStation against other people online. And it was kind of like Halo before Halo came out. But you had jetpacks, you had different classes of characters. It was third person, if I remember correctly. You had like the light, the medium, and the heavy. Of course, light was more maneuverable, but you could take more damage, just like most games, those kinds of classes. But light also could fly for longer, and you had different ships. So you had like a transport ship where you could pick up some of your buddies, and there wasn't much of a height limit of the sky. There was, but you could fly above the clouds, go over to an enemy's base where you're trying to capture their flag, and just dump out all your buddies with their jetpacks and fly in from the sky and just blow them up with your guns. And it was an online thing, so it was really nice. It was really cool. Yeah, we played that all night long. Didn't expect anything of it. It was a lot of fun, I gotta say.
Dang, speaking of playing all night long, and speaking of a game that sounds very much like Halo, Chaz. You remember that? You remember those LAN parties? The Halo LAN parties, bro?
Oh man, who doesn't?
We're talking about underrated games.
Yeah, I know. That just reminded me.
Not games that define a generation.
Chaz, how many controllers did you break during those Halo LAN parties?
My last one was actually how I wound up getting an Xbox 360. I'm sitting there, we're playing, I got shot, I grabbed my controller, I threw it, it went against the wall, but it was, back in those days, guys, controllers had cords. Yeah. So I threw it, and it was still attached to the console. So it jerked the console with it.
Wait, but this was Xbox, though?
It was original Xbox.
Yeah, because the original Xbox, though, you're forgetting, was they introduced the breakaway controller cable. So did you have like an aftermarket one or something that didn't have
Probably.
that? Yeah.
It might have gotten like he threw it at an angle or something. Where it didn't. Like,
I thought that was a really cool feature.
The whole Xbox came off the shelf and went against the wall.
Oh, yeah. That sucks.
Yeah. Almost like they made it for Chaz.
Well, speaking of other really cool games, I don't know if you guys have heard of this one, but Jeopardy? You guys ever hear of Jeopardy?
No. What is that?
Well, I just wanted to bring it up because, this happened a little while ago, but we didn't mention it, and I just want to, let's everyone lift our drinks to Alex Trebek because, man, that was a solid dude. I gotta say. So here's to Alex Trebek.
Here's to Alex Trebek.
You know, that guy fought cancer for so long, and man, the way he spoke about it with just... he's just a good dude. That's all there is to it. They don't make him like that anymore.
No. Dude, he even worked up until like 2-3 days before he actually passed.
Yeah.
I mean, one, that says something about his integrity and his work ethic. And two, did you guys know that when he was going through his cancer treatments, all his chemo treatments and all that, and they stepped down from he stepped back from the show. The show didn't get any guest hosts or anything. They respected him just like he respected the show. So it's just like, look, hey, I need 3 months off or whatever. So they just didn't film for 3 months. Wow. And I just thought it was really cool that kind of respect you don't see a lot of, especially in Hollywood and in that industry. So I mean, I just think that's a really, really cool thing.
I agree. Yeah, it's a sad thing because I remember visiting my grandparents up in Michigan, and my grandmother loved Jeopardy. She always watched Jeopardy every night. I can't remember what time it came on, like 8 or something like that. Always
7:30.
Jeopardy. Yeah, oh, there you go. Yeah, it couldn't have been that late, but yeah, it was.
Well,
Just
I think everybody actually has that. At least our age has that memory.
Yeah.
Go to
I'll
your
tell you,
grandma's house. You sit down at 7 o'clock in the floor of your grandma's house. You're watching Wheel of Fortune and you're watching Jeopardy. You're spending an hour doing that with your grandparents. Everyone
my
has.
dad actually installed a speaker, like they had a little amplifier for just speakers they could listen to music, but he wired it so that another one from like the B channel of the speaker, it could go all the way, and there was a little speaker cube right on the couch where my grandmother sat because she was a little hard of hearing, just so she could hear Alex Trebek Jeopardy.
My favorite best memories of Jeopardy were Celebrity Jeopardy, because it was just a bunch of idiots on there, so they couldn't make hard questions. So I was like, yeah, I'm crushing it tonight, boy. I used to wreck some Celebrity Jeopardy.
Yeah, no kidding.
like the SNL skits that they did on it really weren't that far off.
Yeah, no, there was it was a softball show for sure.
Yeah, I would wreck Celebrity Jeopardy, and they'd have some Jeopardy reruns or something. So like you'd hit Celebrity Jeopardy and feeling all good, and yeah, son, I'm a genius. And then Ken Jennings is on the next episode, and you're like, yeah, I suck.
Isn't that Ken Jennings? That was the dude that was like crazy good, wasn't it?
GOAT. He's the GOAT.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
That's the greatest of all time, boys.
Yeah.
I can't. I want to backtrack. We can talk about Jennings here in a second, but another guy that just died, Sean Connery.
Oh
right?
yeah.
Did you guys have to watch those?
Speaking of
those
SNL
skits?
Jeopardy.
Dude.
SNL Jeopardy. Suck it, Trebek.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. Sean Connery was a man's man for sure.
Oh yeah. He definitely was.
I just thought it was cool and wanted to revisit that.
That's a good call out.
I really liked Sean Connery in The Rock. That was
Gentlemen, welcome to The Rock.
Yeah, that was a good one.
So definitely one.
Let me ask you guys this, because I really haven't been paying attention to it. I saw something about guest hosts for Jeopardy, but are they like talking about replacing Trebek with somebody, or are they just going to keep doing guests? What's the deal with that? You guys know?
Yeah, they are feeling out who they feel is going to handle the show the best and who can be the next Trebek.
Okay.
So, like, what's his name? Well, the GOAT, Jennings.
Ken Jennings.
Ken Jennings.
Oh yeah, he'd be a good one, maybe.
Well, he's actually yesterday signed on to be the GOAT, or the new guest host.
Yeah. Okay.
But there's already some kind of controversy about it because of some Twitter post from like 8 years ago.
Oh, gee. They're trying to cancel him now?
Do you know what it was? What was the Twitter post? Something he posted that's like controversial now, you mean?
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Yeah. He said something about kids in wheelchairs or something. I don't.
Oh, my gosh.
It was a bad joke.
Come on. Give me a break.
But really?
So,
anyway.
But they don't have anyone in mind for like permanent replacement other than him?
No. I mean, the only thing I've seen was there was a petition out for Levar Burton.
Jordy? Is he going to wear the thing?
Yeah.
The thing across his eyes?
Well, it's like you say that. I'm just picturing the guy from Reading Rainbow.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Yeah. I remember the Reading Rainbow episode where like he went on the set of Star Trek to like show what he did with his... Yeah. Oh, that's ridiculous.
See, I sit here and I act like I'm typing important things. I don't know. Like, I don't really see... Because you can't... Trebek is big shoes to fill. But the thing that I always liked about him was, I know that he didn't always know the answers. I mean, he didn't know all the answers. He had a card. Mm-hmm. But the guy seemed like he really came off as a real intellectual. And I think that he was probably very intelligent. and he was always really well spoken and everything. I just don't really get that from LeVar Burton. I mean, he's an actor. I liked him in Star Trek Next Generation. I liked him in Reading Rainbow. I grew up with him as most kids from our generation did. But I don't really see him as like that. Ken Jennings probably would fit that if he has like stage presence, but yeah.
Here's one that literally just popped into my head for a potential replacement.
Okay.
What about Ben Stein? What do you think?
Well, he's old, but I love Ben Stein.
I do too, but they had that Win Ben Stein's Money show with him, and he was still trying to play off of that, like, really, like, uninterested, monotone type of thing. Like, if he could kind of just not do that, maybe. Like, it's weird because, excuse me, the first person that popped into my mind was freaking Obama. Like, I could almost see him doing Jeopardy, which is weird.
Will you look at that?
Yeah,
I could see that.
Yeah, that's the first person for some reason, which is I don't know, but hey,
we're gonna go on to the next category, and just stop me if you don't know this or if you want to move on to the next one. Come on.
It's sad you bring Obama up because every time I see a picture of Obama, I have to do a double take because I think it's the guy from Breaking Bad.
Oh, yeah.
Oh,
I can't remember the actor's
name. Mandalorian,
too. Yeah. Actually, and he's in the Boys as well.
Yeah. I've been watching The Boys, and he showed up in that, too.
That's a good show.
It is a good show. We should talk about that sometime.
Yeah, no
I will. I haven't finished season 2 yet. Give me some time.
Me neither, bro.
Yeah,
I think I'm on like the last episode.
I waited until the day the final episode came out so I could watch them all because I hate watching things episodically like that. But
so do I.
Yeah. Speaking of episodically, though, what about, in the spirit of Thanksgiving, another day in history with Chaz. I don't know, Chaz. Okay. I'm sorry to put you on the spot, but do you have anything Thanksgiving history related?
Pulled
it off last time with the Tilden. Who was the other guy? Gosh, I can't remember.
We were going over it in my history class.
Yeah, you killed it with that. So let's see. You're on the spot again.
All right. So Thanksgiving, most people attest it to the journey of the Mayflower comes over. Pilgrims meet with the Indians. There's this big feast. They love each other. They shake hands. They become friends, and that is Thanksgiving.
That's the story that I know.
Okay. No. So Pilgrims come over on the Mayflower. They land here right before winter. Most of them die. Thank God that they ran into some random Indian on a beach that had actually met Englishmen before, spoke English, been enslaved by the English, taken to London, sold into slavery, and then got his way out, journeyed back to the new world on another expeditionary ship to be reunited with his tribe to now teach these people that are starving and dying how to live off the land. They just got lucky.
Wait, are you serious? That's who they ran into, the first person?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that's luck. That's like a
chances.
Yeah, no kidding. Are you kidding me?
I forget his name. Squanto.
Yeah. Squanto.
He's Squanto. I've heard that name before. Wow.
The original, the OG.
He taught him how to farm corn. He taught him how to get sap out of trees. He taught them where to fish, what plants not to eat so they didn't die.
Yeah, no kidding.
Which is really interesting because, like, you got to think, like, I mean, it's not like when you have that language barrier, like, you can't talk about anything, and not just the language barrier, but like you had people literally from different not literally, but they were from different worlds, from like different planets, like
in a way that we can't even understand anymore.
Yeah, like someone from like a Western country someone from France who comes over and I don't speak their language, we could still communicate with there's some middle ground there
Right.
because we dress the same roughly. We have a lot of the same expressions and we can follow, like, there are cues that we can follow, but like, like, hey, over here, or so, like, okay, or like thumbs up, but like those guys, that literally nothing. And a gesture could have been like an act of war.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In
This
some
might have
cases
been
it
like,
was.
I'm gonna kill you.
Yeah. In some cases it was.
Right.
But,
Yeah, that's
but like,
interesting.
but that's boils back to what the actual Thanksgiving feast was about. It wasn't a celebration of friends and all that. It was, yay, we grew something. They finally harvested their crops, and it didn't suck.
It was the end of idiocracy.
We had food.
Yeah, right.
And then the tribe, the guy was staying with, he's like, yeah, I'll tell you what, hold on. And they went and they killed a bunch of deer and brought it back. And next thing you know, we'll join the party. They had a 3-day long celebration. The first Thanksgiving lasted 3 days, and it was deer and corn.
Nice.
Well, 3 days. That's nice too. Yeah, that's more than we get now.
It started with that. How did we go from that to turkey and dressing?
Commercial. Yeah, commercialism mostly, I'd say. Yeah.
Through the ages, keep in mind, this is the 1620s, when this started.
It was a little while ago.
Yeah, it's not like it was something that happened all the time, but it didn't really start to come about. Yeah, it through the regions and stuff, it trickled up a bit, and each little area started doing their own thing. But George Washington, right at the end of the Revolutionary War, was actually the first one to go into the make it a national thing. He declared it a national day of giving thanks for people that didn't want to
work
to give thanks for getting out of the war. Sorry.
No, you're good. Yeah, it's interesting, and I gotta say that one of the things that annoys me the most is that there's Halloween in America. There's Halloween, and then it's like, get ready for Christmas, and Thanksgiving is just kind of passed over. It's like, yay, we get the day off, and some of us are lucky enough to get Friday off as well. But hey, Christmas is coming. Everybody start buying stuff, and I don't know. It kind of frustrates me a little bit because it used to be. I felt like it used to be more emphasis on the spirit of Thanksgiving, just being thankful for what you have versus what you don't have and the bad things in your life, which I think everybody use a little bit of at least once a year. So
especially in the year 2020, I would say.
Yeah.
No kidding. Yeah.
And I for one, and that's one thing that I'm really pushing with my family and my household, because my wife's two favorite holidays are Halloween #1 and Christmas #2. So, she likes to start as soon as the Halloween stuff comes down. She starts getting a hankering for putting up Christmas, and I'm always the one that puts on the brakes. We're like, hey, no, I really want to keep that alive, keep Thanksgiving alive because of everything you just said, Chris. We have fun at Halloween, and I think everybody gets pulled into the consumerism to some degree at Christmas time. And Thanksgiving really doesn't have to be about that. That's a good place to kind of just stop and say, hey, let's reflect on the year before it's over and think about the things that we have and what we can be thankful for.
Yeah, absolutely.
That brings me back to the modern age and the modern meaning of Thanksgiving. Did you know that the modern concept of Thanksgiving was actually created by the woman who wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb?
Really?
No joke. She came up with turkey. She came up with recipes for stuffing and cranberry sauce and potatoes. She was actually a writer and a magazine editor, and she petitioned for like 30 some years to make Thanksgiving a national holiday. And it wasn't until Abe Lincoln. He actually made it a national holiday on a standardized day so that the whole nation would celebrate this day as Thanksgiving. This day, we were all going to give thanks and be thankful for what we have. Because at the height of the Civil War, this is like 1863, I think it was. So like countries all fighting is when he did this.
Mm-hmm.
So
Wow.
he did it as a way to try and bring the country back together as whole. And
Interesting.
I thought it did a good job.
I think
You
so.
know, it's and
I mean,
that's
we're
what, with her leading that charge and doing what she did through her editorials and protests and Lincoln finally doing that, and then whenever that helped bring everybody together.
yeah.
So,
I like that. That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, I agree.
so you know the history of Thanksgiving.
Well, and that's
There you
been
go, boys.
another day in history with Chaz.
Oh, and Trump pardoned the turkey today.
Oh, well, hey,
Oh,
cool.
good for that turkey.
Good for
That's
that.
great.
that
Another fun fact:
turkey.
the first Bush is the president that started that. Every president does it every year
Really?
since Bush, the first Bush.
Kidding.
Huh.
He did it. He did it as a publicity thing, and every year they pardon the turkey.
Huh. I thought it was older than him. I thought it was like Carter or something. Interesting.
I think so. I'm pretty sure it was Bush.
That's
You're gonna make me have
interesting.
to look stuff up.
No, dude. Yeah, I'm not questioning
do
you.
that.
I'm not questioning you. I mean, I know you're the history man. The history with Chad.
Yeah.
Right on. Well,
Chaz, did you ever? You were talking to us offline about this the other day. Did you ever figure out what type of gun you want to get for your first gun?
No. All I really know is I want to get a 9mm.
Okay.
That's all I really want to know. And
Yeah.
and the reason for that is because the ammunition is readily available like everywhere.
normally.
It's like
Used to be.
it's like the most common ammunition there is, and it's the least, probably close to the least expensive ammunition there is because there's so much of it. That's why I wanted to go that route.
Yeah, for a pistol, I would agree. Yeah.
That's fair.
Yeah,
That's fair.
definitely. You
I don't have a, so that's just train of thought.
everybody
And it's probably gonna be after Christmas before I even.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty common for people to start with a pistol as their first gun. I know that was my first gun was a pistol, a 9mm. No, sorry, it was actually a 40 because those were all hyped at the time. And
Yeah, 40s
40.
were 40s were hot for a little while.
yeah, it was a Springfield
40 to
XD.
you and a 40 to me are two completely different things.
Yeah, well, 40 is kind of on the way out, so I wouldn't recommend that anymore. But 9mm is not too bad. What do you have, Parrish? I'm sure you got a
Well,
couple.
Yeah, I mean, I like 9mm for all the reasons that Chaz said. I think that the research that you've done on it, Chaz, is commendable and correct. Other than the statement, it's readily available because, which to be fair, nothing is readily available right now.
Not
But
right now.
they ain't nothing out there.
But typically, yeah.
Well, maybe in Texas, but everywhere else in the country, for the most part, ammo is very hard to find. But if that 9mm cute. No, I mean it's good. It's good. But if you're ever feeling like you want something that just exudes masculinity, it just personifies manliness. Not personifies. It illustrates manliness in the form of a pistol. There's only one option, boys.
Oh God, here we go.
And that option comes only in 45 ACP if you do it right. Now, 45 ACP. Oh, what am I speaking of? Oh, none other than the 1911. Samuel Colt made all men equal when he created the gun, but Browning made it sexy or something like that. I don't know.
The Knights.
I'm gonna clear this. I just brought it in because I wanted to show you all you haters of the 1911 because of its low capacity, low round count. This is a 10 I run 10 plus 1. There's not a plus 1 right now. So I'm just going to clear it. We're clear. All good. All right. So this is a Springfield Operator 1911 with Packmeyer grips. And I think it's like a 2-pound trigger pull. This gun is sexy. It is. Oh, I feel that. Golly, that trigger's sexy. So Packmeyer grips, 42 ounces empty. So I mean, it's a nail driver. But this is what you want to reside next to your bed. It doesn't reside next to my bed because this is not my gun. I don't believe in guns; they scare me. But I borrowed this from somebody. So, but that is all. Also, this is also not my gun. But if you want to go the classic route, this is 1969 Colt 1911 World War I commemorative.
That's cool.
There's your empty chamber. Also a sexy trigger pull. And so that's my baby. That's my
I feel like I'm on QVC.
If I ever have to buy a car cash, just something cheap cash, then I'll, trade this in for it. But I'll just put that over here. I'm a 1911 guy. I love them. They're thin. They carry easily. Very thin profile. I am a fan. Probably not a great gun to start on. It's more of a collector's gun, and there are a lot better options with higher round count and stuff like that. But I just wanted to share those because I think 1911s are sexy.
All right, that's what you got there, Parrish.
Yeah, can't top it. You can't. I mean, that's
no. Why do they call it a 1911?
That's what.
Sorry, I'm like gun-tarded over here. I'm just
they were
That's
issued.
the year it was actually. Yeah, that's the year that was made. There was actually, and I'll shout out again, Forgotten Weapons. This is a great channel. If you guys, anybody out there wants to know any history about most guns nowadays, he's gotten to the point where he's covered most common guns and a lot of very uncommon guns. Great channel. Forgotten Weapons on YouTube. Check it out. He's got a whole history actually about the 19 series from, I can't remember, the 1906 maybe it started with, but it worked his way up, different iterations. The grip safety came, grip safety went, came back, stuff like that. Really cool. But that's basically all it is. The year that one was, that iteration of it came out. So so I have a few. If you're going for a pistol, this one right here, I already have it cleared, no magazine, nice and empty. This one is the SIG P320. This is actually the gun that the Army just adopted, and probably all the other branches are going to be adopting it as well. It's just your standard polymer striker-fired pistol. I like 1911s because really can't beat the trigger on a pistol. They're beautiful. And I also like hammer-fired guns. But for a new shooter, I will say that unless you're planning on training a lot with the gun, this might be a little bit easier because there's no safety on it except for this guy right here. So when this thing is cocked and ready to rock, you pull that trigger, it is going to go off. So you don't have to worry about, in the heat of the moment, having the thumb as safety. You don't have to worry about carrying it cocked and locked and forgetting to put the safety on, and maybe you're going to holster it and it gets caught, pulls the trigger. 15 rounds with the flush magazine. You can get base plate extensions. They go up to, I don't even know, 24 rounds, something ridiculous like that. Mm-hmm. But for just a standard, 9mm, that's not too bad. I will say, though,
I like, and I while you're grabbing your other toys there, Chris, I appreciate that you went with the threaded barrel, Chaz. So that
I was about to ask what the hell that is.
Tell them about the extension on the front there.
Yeah, so the barrel's a little bit longer, and it's got this little muzzle thread protector thing on it, but it's got a threaded barrel on there, and that's so you can add goodies like suppressors to make them not movie quiet, but just a lot quieter than a normal gunshot. Or you could put a compensator on it if you want. You could do all kinds of cool stuff.
does that thread into the gun? I mean, is that like a little adapter that's like this long?
No,
it's part of the barrel.
It's the entire barrel itself, so it just sticks out of the end a little bit. Just a longer barrel that's threaded. That's all that is.
But other guns can have suppressors and extensions and stuff on the end. How do they do that?
With threaded barrels. That's
Only
pretty much the main way to do it. Glock has a suppressor that you can put onto the little accessory rail here, but there's other things that like some 22s, they have them that you can kind of like slide it on and then twist it and it kind of locks over the front sight. This is a rifle we're talking about, not a pistol, but threaded barrel is the way to go. Or having a barrel with like a 3-lug adapter or something like that on there. But yeah.
So, Chaz, your normal one, as Chris is grabbing, if you can see, there we go. Your normal, see how I don't have anything on the end of my barrel?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I can't put a suppressor or a compensator or anything screwed it because there's nothing to screw it onto on the front of mine. You have to have, unless now I could take this to, I can buy a barrel for a 1911 that's threaded and just swap this out. Or
that was my next question. You just tear it apart and put it together.
Oh yeah.
Check this out.
You can get an aftermarket barrel.
Yeah, so watch this. This is have this stupid left-handed thread on SIGs, but this is how easy it is to take this guy apart. Rack it back. There's this where's my little lever right here. It's hard to do on camera. Sorry guys, I guess I'm not manly enough. There we go. Got that back like that. Let the slide release go and part like that way. Got your barrel up under there with the spring. You could take the whole thing out. The cool thing about the P20 is that this piece in here will actually come right out. I'm not going to do it on camera because I don't want to drop anything, but it comes right out and you can put it into a different grip frame. You can do all kinds of stuff. So it's actually a modular pistol, which is kind of a novel concept. So kind of interesting, kind of cool.
And I am not going to break down my 1911 because
you're going to lose a...
And there are lots of pieces.
All kinds
it's quite the process. And yeah, I mean, this is a design that is now, 110 years old. So it's not nearly as easy.
I will say, though, that a lot of people recommend a 12-gauge shotgun for home defense. I do have one. This is just 870. It's empty. Chamber open. But I don't recommend these because, for one, look how it's 6 shots or so in it. It kicks like a mule. If you fired a 12 gauge like a mule, especially with buckshot. Gun owner, definitely don't recommend. Gun that I do recommend for a new gun owner. Standard power pad. And this thing you whoop, whoop, nice and short, really easy, 30 rounds. Bullets tumble when they go through walls. You don't have to worry about super over penetration and going through your house or anything. That's what I recommend. Or if you don't like ARs, if you're also do the AK.
That I think you're going to get a lot more penetration with AKs, though. Yeah,
probably. Yeah, probably. Now, depending on what type of ammo you're using. But since you're looking for a pistol, there are a couple out there that I would recommend. The Mechanic makes a really nice, affordable pistol. It's TP9, I think is what it's called. Those are good. There was one I just saw the other day. Another brand. Is that Zygana PX9, I think is what it was. It was kind of like a Springfield XD clone. Cool looking gun, striker fired, and it had a thumb safety on it if you guys want a thumb safety on it. But less than, not bad.
Man, that at that point you're in like less than $300. You're in high point territory. Only like good.
Yeah.
Well, real quick to go back to what you were just doing. You had the AR and an AK. Now the AK, that's a Russian one, right? That's the one they use in like the Middle East and Russia
Yes.
and all.
Everywhere.
Okay.
That is correct.
Why the AR over the AK? Because from what I understand, that AR is like bulletproof. You
Well,
can
how
throw
much
it in
time
the
you got,
mud.
buddy?
No, I mean you can throw it. I mean they throw it in mud, snow, ice, sand.
The
and they pick
AK
it up
you
and it
mean?
still shoots, right?
The AK
Yeah.
you mean is
The AK.
yeah.
Yeah.
So actually, it's kind of a misconception. There's a rumor that it's gone around time that AKs are more reliable than ARs. Here's man, I gotta listen just one more time to show you guys. ARs are pretty sealed from the elements. So, and don't mind my stupid Sightmark site. I've been waiting to get a good optic for this, but they're expensive right now. So just tossed a stupid one.
I was about to say, but
Yeah, don't laugh at that. I know an LMT with a Sightmark.
Yeah.
So they have this little feature here. It's called a dust cover. You close that and you got a magazine in this thing. It's sealed up. If the only entry points are going to be through the barrel and maybe a little bit kind of through where the upper and the lower come together.
Yeah, really fine particles. Yeah.
If it's sealed up, cover it pretty much everything. Especially troops usually put like a condom or something over the barrel to keep stuff out if it's rainy or what. AK on the other. Take that out. So this is all you really have here to seal up the system on this little right here. So when the bolt opens, anything that's on it will get scraped off by the dust cover and start to fall in. And AKs, if you start to get dirt or something where the bolt locks up in there, game over. Get it locked up, it's gonna be, you're gonna have to strip it and clean it out with water. So Forgotten Weapons other channel, In Range TV, actually has a good video that's AK versus AR mud test. See that in action.
That said,
Curious.
yeah, but that said, Chaz, you gotta keep, most, we're not operating, you know what I mean? And most guys, you got to keep it in context of like what you're looking for, what you're wanting to do, and really, I think it kind of comes down to preference. There's a lot of different reasons to go for an AK over an AR, and there's a lot of different reasons to go for an AR over an AK, and there's a whole host of ammo pricing, accuracy, how hard the ballistics of the rounds for an AK versus an AR. There's availability. Okay, so like there's no Russian import AKs. Like that really hurt the AK market. Drove AK is really expensive. So like, a few years ago, I would have said like, dude, well, AK is way cheaper than most ARs, and that's not really the case anymore. All of it is hard to find, but now like there's American AK companies that are kind of starting to fill that void, but there's a ton of things to consider with that. My personal opinion, I would go with an AR if you're between the two and don't have a hard feeling one way or the other. And I say that because the AR-50, the M4 style, AR rifle is still the standard issue, is still a standard issue for the military. And you got to think anything that's used for the military, there's going to be, it's going to be plentiful. It's always going to be available, and it's always going to be, because it's plentiful and available, it's going to be cheaper.
And for the most part, the AR pattern rifles are basically like Legos almost.
Yeah.
You can pretty much, for the most part, take any part off of any one and put it into another. I could take the top part off of mine, and if Chad one, I could take his upper receiver with barrel and everything, slap it onto my lower trigger group thing, and just go to shooting. So AKs, there's some differences, and you can't even take the off of it. You take the top cover and the return spring and stuff out, the bolt, but that's about as far as you can. So, I like AKs. I think they're great guns. I wish there were some 5.4 variants in America, some more options for that. But the main thing, I will say this: the main thing when it comes to like, get something that you can afford to feed, afford to trade. That is so much more important than expensive gun you can afford and thinking you look cool. Training is so much more. Spend some money, go take some weekend classes where they teach basic moving, drawing, shooting, things like that, because it's not going to be experience. And that's the most important thing, is being comfortable with your ability.
I want to kind of push back a little bit on that, Chris, because I agree 100% with you about training being important, but I got to push back on you with one of the other things. This is all about looking cool. Looking cool is 100%. It is the most important. But let me come back around to the circle. You ain't gonna look cool if you ain't training. You know what I mean? If you want to look freaking secret squirrel, super duper black ops, operator, bro, you ain't gonna get that without training. So yeah, you got to train to look cool. Word.
Yeah, there's gonna be. Imagine a dude that's got the full bump helmet with night vision goggles on.
Yeah.
He's got the whole AM system on the
straight LARPed out, son.
Yeah, IR designator, all that stuff. He's got the CAC rifle. He's got the full, plates, everything. But the dude can't hit steel at 50 yards. And then you have the dude running around with the high point, just owning everybody. I'd rather be the dude with the high point. Honest, it's cool to have good gear, but if you can't use it, ever.
If you can make a high point cool, man, dude, you're a cool cat. That's mad props. Show.
You just put a bunch of letters and initials and stuff in front of stuff, and I have no idea what you just said.
Chad's gonna spend all night
Googling this. It's like I know you're speaking English, but I have no idea what you just said to me.
Just digest the info, and every episode we could talk a little bit more as you learn some stuff, and be kind of like a documentary of your progress into the world.
Black rifles, man, are
synonymous
they're fun
with them.
Yeah, it's true. America, freedom, black rifles.
I hear they make good coffee.
Well, some of them do, but BRCC, Black Rifle Coffee Company, they're in a little bit of hot water right now. Y'all hear about this?
Oh, I did not hear about this. What could they have done? They're so low key. What would they have done?
I'll tell you what, dude. I got that Blackbeard's Delight blend, and it is my favorite. I get the whole bean. It's phenomenal. I love it. But
talking them.
Yeah, bro. So, basically, there's a 17-year-old kid. They call him the Kenosha Kid, named Kyle Rittenhouse. Kyle Rittenhouse was out defending. Basically, go too deep into his case, but
I think everybody knows about Kyle Rittenhouse now with the whole Kenosha shooting and everything.
Yeah. If we're all pretty familiar with him, he ended up shooting 3 guys. One side says that he murdered 3 protesters. The other side says that he was defending businesses, and some guys jumped him, and his life was threatened, and he retaliated because he was armed. Or not retaliated. He defended his life because he was armed and he could do so. And America. So he got arrested. This was, man, how long has he been in jail?
Jeez.
It's been a month or 2, isn't it?
It's been a bit. I can't remember.
It's been a while. But he just posted, I think it was a $2 million bail. I believe it was $2 million.
It was $2 million, yep.
$2 million bail, got released this past week, or maybe it was like, no, yeah, it was it was like the day before yesterday, I think.
Projection, it was August 20th that all that happened. So yeah, it's been
Been a few months.
yeah.
And he's been in jail this whole time. So he just got released. He got home, snapped a photo with I think his dad and I don't know if it was his lawyer or a family member. But Kyle was wearing a T-shirt that said Black Rifle Coffee Company. Black Rifle does a great job branding themselves. They have all these like T-shirts and hats and all this stuff that people wear. So it's a lot more than just a coffee company.
Don't they do a lot of stuff for like veterans and things?
Yeah, their whole thing is, I think this said 55% of their employees are veterans.
Oh wow.
For the company, yeah. So like they're big on veterans. They do a lot of veterans outreach and charity stuff. But when he took this picture that went out, that got blasted out, and he was wearing a Black Rifle T-shirt, a Black Rifle Coffee Company T-shirt. I guess some people started doing the whole diss you on BRCC, and there was there was apparently some blowback from people who probably don't even buy from BRCC, that were just being, tattletales online. And so the CEO,
keyboard warriors.
Yeah, exactly. The keyboard warriors came out en masse, and the CEO released this statement that I will read to you real quick. Okay, yeah. So Black Rifle Coffee's co-founder, named Evan Hafer, he said this past Saturday, we do not support legal advocacy efforts. We do not sponsor, nor do we have a relationship with the 17-year-old facing charges in Kenosha, Wisconsin. There was also some pushback that they had for Blaze Media, the Blaze Media company who they sponsor. They had a picture of Kyle wearing that T-shirt, and it was somehow connected with their plug or advertisement for BRCC, and so they called Blaze Media and told them, hey, you need to take that down. So there have been, obviously, a lot of Kyle's advocates are big Second Amendment fans, big fans of rifles, and a lot of BRCC's patrons, the people that buy their coffee, a lot of them are Second Amendment advocates, and so we have this thing now.
And not just Second Amendment advocates, but anti-Antifa and BLM. So obviously, when that happened, they're seeing it the way that's contrary to the way that other people are seeing it. So yeah, I can see how that would be very chaotic situation.
So basically, they should have just kept their mouth shut. There was no need for them to make a comment whatsoever, and in stepping up and in doing so, they've completely alienated themselves to their entire client base.
Hey, Chaz,
it sounds like.
First off, just for everybody that is listening out there, this is a picture. I have it up. It's called National File. This is just the picture of the, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Didn't I read somewhere about this though that they might have been misquoted? Black Rifle Company might have been misquoted something.
Yeah, there was a mistake. Some people jumped to conclusions and saw where they had Blaze Media take down that advertisement that kind of connected them with him because he was wearing that shirt, and they took that as there was a rumor going around that they had dropped Blaze Media, their sponsorship with
That's
Blaze.
Glenn Beck, right?
Yeah, it's Glenn Beck and Mark Levin, Steven Crowder, a bunch of other guys are in that together. So they didn't drop him. They just asked him to take that down. Um, and so I think that was a misconception. Also, there was a video that followed up where the CEO kind of spoke more on why they did this, and what he said made sense, but it's like, man, you shouldn't have. I mean, I agree with Chaz. Like me personally, if I'm that guy, um, I'm saying nothing. If someone says, "Hey, are you sponsoring Kyle Rittenhouse?" No. He's just wearing my shirt. Like the way I look at it is like, what if he was wearing like a Tommy Hilfiger shirt? Does
Nike.
Tommy Hilfiger need to come out and say, no, we don't sponsor this kid?
Well, even worse, and I'm not gonna kick a guy while he's down because obviously this is quite a situation he finds himself in, especially with temperament tree. Excuse me, but once things have started to blow up like this, the best thing, in my opinion, is just to disappear. Just don't respond, don't buy into it, because the more I feel, the more you feed into it, the more you respond, the longer it's going to keep things going, longer it's going to last. And I've seen it other times with people that, and this is not to knock the Me Too movement at all, because I think in a lot of ways it's a very good thing, but some people have been falsely accused certain things, come out and tried to defend themselves and made it worse and made more story, but others have just kind of like, maybe posted one thing, this is ever disappeared away. I don't know. I feel like just with social media and everything, less is more.
Yeah.
It's like in a case like this, what would have happened is if they kept their mouth shut, sure, speculation would have, gone about and run around, but in keeping their mouth shut, it also would have attracted more people to their brand, and they'd have seen an increase in sales from it.
Or another good thing is talk to a PR firm. That would help as well. Good ideas.
Oh, I'd imagine they are now.
Oh yeah, I'm sure they are. And this is not to knock anyone from Black Rifle Coffee Company, because this is terrible. I'm sorry that you guys are going through it. It sucks.
Yeah.
Best of luck with all that. I'm not going to stop any.
No.
It's an unfortunate situation.
I'm with, and I'm withholding judgment. I think that I'm a little bit more, probably a little bit more on the a little bit more judgy, maybe is the only word I can think of.
Not
than you guys, but yeah, I'm a little bit warmer on the on the, or colder. Yeah, I'm a little bit colder feeling about it. But they're definitely paying the price for their words and their in the. I think this is the capitalist in me thinks that, hey, I mean, you messed up in your business, and you got to be careful what you say when you say it, because the drawback can be dire. We'll say that they make, in all honesty, the best coffee that I've ever had, and so I would love to keep buying it. Blackbeard's Delight is my favorite. And I swear, dude, that's what I have in my kitchen.
Speaking of which, if you guys need, anyone to throw out some positive work, plenty of room in that episode 3 space right there for sponsorship.
Boy, we'll put you on a ticker at the bottom, man.
It's omega@gmail.com. Come on.
Yeah, boy.
Pretty please. Boy. Seriously. But and what's the worst part about it is when a company does things for charity, for like veterans, or they do give back, and then they're going something like, it sucks. It's a bad situation. So we'll see what comes from it. Parrish, I gotta say, I really liked the EMS story that you did last episode.
Yeah, they're fun. I kept it. after a while, I was like, man, I got to start documenting some of this stuff. I'm going to start forgetting these stories or losing them. So, writing them down in my journal was, yeah, it was fun. It's fun dusting it off and revisiting some of those old, memories and stuff. But
Not just fun, but I think to our benefit as well, because I think I speak for Chaz when I say I would absolutely love, and I think I speak for everybody that's watching, all 5 of our subscribers, if you would regale us with there's tale from your dusty notebook.
Well, Chris, I absolutely would be happy to. I happen to have it right here.
Look at that! Yes, whee!
And
You cheesy
let's
bastard.
see. What do we want to? How about he should have listened?
I almost want to get my blanket and a pillow and get all snuggled up before you tell me my night story.
Tonight we'll be sure to listen. Okay, so let me just give some background. It's been a while since I wrote this, so you gotta understand when I wrote this, it was in a very dark place. EMS can be a very dark place. You're spending your entire 24 hours at a time in the dark underbelly of America, dealing with, it's not just like helping grandma up off the floor and heart attack victims and car wrecks and being Superman. There's a lot of really messed up, rough people living their lives very poorly, making terrible decisions over and over and over and over again. And that really starts to wear you down after a while. So some of these stories might be a little dark, might be a little surprising for people to hear. Just because.
Well, real quick before you actually start it,
please.
I want to say, in a sober state, because when you went into this last week, I was so trashed I could barely string a sentence together. Laura, I apologize for that too. But legitimately, I
couldn't even tell.
I thought he was just happy.
I was thrilled, but no, legit. We appreciate not just you and what you've done, but everybody else that the medical workers, mainly EMS people, the stuff that you guys see and the stuff that you guys go through is horrific, traumatizing.
Yeah.
But somebody has to do it, and I'm
just
thankful.
Sum it up with
this. You guys do.
We'll raise our glasses for all of you out there. What do you got? EMS, EMTs? What do you? Acronym.
EMS, I think.
EMTs and paramedics. Yep. Emergency responders. Yep.
Perfectly.
To you guys, all y'all still in the field, in the trenches, doing the good work.
Seeing all that stuff,
Yep. So, he should have listened. Early along in my paramedic experience, my partner clued me in on some practices that would make my life easier. Among these is the concept of just take 'em. To elaborate, many people have an awfully distorted view of what EMS is designed to do and what kinds of situations to which we were intended to respond. No, let's go broader. Many people have an awfully distorted view of the definition of an emergency. Examples: substernal chest pain, loss of consciousness of unknown origin, life or limb threatening trauma. These all constitute emergencies. Blisters on your feet, chronic back pain, and drunk sleeping in park benches do not constitute emergencies. Hardly ever. But usually the latter types of calls, approximately 90% of the approximately 99% of the 33,000 calls my agency runs every year, come from only a few different types of situations. One, the patient's immobile or somehow physically unable to get to a medical facility, which is understandable in some situations. Or two, the patient wants us to check him or her out, diagnose and or cure whatever is wrong without taking them to a medical facility. Not okay.
It's like one of those house call doctors.
Right.
Times. Let's
Right.
just call old.
Give me a pain pill and tell me I'll be okay.
Give me one of those bottles of that morphine syrup.
Yep. Or 3, the patient knows that his or her complaint is not very acute and that the ER will make them wait for untold hours in triage while more acute patients are pushed to the front of the line ahead of them. So the patient has gone through this inconvenience before and will be damned if he or she is going to go through that again. As such, this forward-thinking patient opts to be transported to the ER via ambulance so that we can take him or her directly into the ER room to see the doctor. Smart, right?
So smart. A genius.
Come on now. No. We will march that patient directly to triage. So just put that idea out of your head right now. So, and number 4, yes, this happens all the time. The patient is a worthless piece of excrement that accomplishes nothing but being a drag on American society and on our medical system. This particular patient decides that he or she needs to get across town to beg a family member for money, meet with their heroin dealer, or just to get some different scenery. He or she doesn't work, of course, and taxis don't take food stamps or EBT, so they start hollering chest pain or my leg hurts, and we load them up and take them to the ER across town.
Wait, can I stop you there for a second? Is that true?
Yes.
Do they try and use like a glorified taxi service?
Yeah, I've taken patients across town to the hospital across town so they wouldn't have to walk. And they just say, "I don't know, what do I have to say for you to take me to the hospital? Can you just drop me off here?" I'm like, "No, we only transport to emergency rooms." And they'll say, "Okay, I'm having chest pain and I need to go to X, and I want to go to X hospital." Take them to the hospital, sign them in. They send them out to triage because there's nothing wrong with them. They walk out to triage and right out the window, or right out the door, they never even sign in. They just want to get right across town. Legit, real talk. I've also taken people to an ER. They specifically want a certain ER because they have a certain soda that they give to people in that ER, and the other one that's closer to them, they use like generic. They'll give them like Shasta, and this one gives them Coke. Yeah, they have Shasta. That one, that's crap. This one, they actually have Canada Dry Ginger Ale.
Yeah.
Real talk, bro.
Yeah, I can't go to the hospital on the north side because they give me Pepsi.
So, yeah, like I said, once we get to the ER, they go to a room, triage or whatever, and they just walk out of the hospital. And that, theoretical reader, oh man, nobody's reading this. I'm reading it. And that, dear listener, is the kind of thing that makes a nation's healthcare system fail. So the 5th type of patient, some loving, caring humanitarian sees a drunk, or a drunked up or drugged up urban outdoorsman. That's what we used to call homeless people in town, stumbling down.
That.
You like that? Urban outdoorsman. Stumbling down the sidewalk, sleeping on a park bench, or passed out in someone else's front yard. This good Samaritan, this wonderful person, becomes so concerned about the person's well-being, but not enough to stop and lift a finger for them. Instead, they'll call 911, and it becomes our responsibility to wake up the said drunk and run him or her off. I especially like it when the caller drives over to us from around the corner after we arrive and tells us that they're the ones that called 911. I'm the one that called. Like I'm going to give you a freaking medal or a Boy Scout pin or something.
I'm shocked that you don't carry around a box of cookies.
Right?
To just hand
we actually had a roll of stickers that was like junior paramedic that we would give to kids at like meetups, and I wanted
stickers.
I wanted to take a strip of those stickers and just like have them for these people. Like, oh, thank you so much. Here, have a sticker. You got the stuff to be a junior paramedic. Anywho, this is where just take them, the just take them concept comes in. When a call like this one comes in, or like example number 2, the patient usually doesn't want to go to the ER. And it's at that point that we get to roll the EMS dice. If we just let the patient refuse transport and leave, he or she may very well call back later after they've had time to change their mind or be convinced by an overcautious friend or family member to call back. Or worse, much worse. Some foreshadowing. So, so my partner and I are working the west end of town, a toxic waste dump of an area full of all the greatest wastes of space in the continental United States. Fact. All of these inbred mutant trash holes seem to find some sort of camaraderie and solidarity by convening and living in this section of town. Are you getting the darkness yet? I wasn't at all bitter when I was working in this. So we get a lot of calls of the BS variety over there, as you've probably already guessed. One such call came in around noon one lovely summer day. One of the many good Samaritans in our fair city called 911 saying there was a man down in someone's front yard and he didn't appear to be breathing. Upon our arrival, I can already see that how this call is going to go, judging from the 24-ounce can of Four Loko next to the guy on the ground.
At least the dude knows how to party.
Right? Noon, buddy. Noon. Holy shit. I stand over him and give him a friendly shout and a nudge with my composite toe tactical shoes we called ass crushers. This doesn't route. I was nice. Okay, I didn't kick him. Don't read into it. This doesn't rouse him. So then I try ever so gently sternum rubbing him. This, of course, is done using my Kevlar composite knuckle tactical gloves. And I think I might have grazed his spine through his sternum. Lo and behold, the guy wakes up. And I say, "Hey, man, what's up?" He says, "Nothing, man." "You been drinking?" "Psh, hell yeah." "Are you doing drugs?" "Yeah, man." "Okay. What you been doing today?" Beer, weed, Xanax." He starts to fall back asleep, so I give him some more sternum shiatsu. This gets him sitting up this time. And then we help him to his feet. We find out this guy lives 2 blocks away, and then he promises to go straight home if we let him go and don't involve the police. After a little discussion, we decided to roll the EMS dice and ignore the just take them concept. We tell the guy to walk home, sleep it off, and stay at home and don't come back out tonight. Just stay home, sleep it off. For a great example of literary foreshadowing, see the title of this entry. That being just take him. We follow the guy to his home and watch him walk into his backyard. And that was that. We clear up and go back to the station where we proceed to get pounded with similar calls and BS BLS, which is BS basic life support. BS BLS all day. Calls like that all day. So I love me some West End. Well, our supervisor likes to try out new culinary ideas on us, and I'm more than happy to be his guinea pig. Tonight, he's cooking something that's sure to be a taste bud tour de force, and it's going to be very welcome after the day that we've had. It's some ungodly, amazing combination of slowly cooked chicken, cheese, bacon, and fried starches, creating a conglomeration of smells such that I'm convinced the very air I'm breathing contains the artery-choking calories this dish promises to deliver. Our super says, "All right, guys, come on in." And the rest of that statement was supposed to be, "Eat before you get another call." But he was interrupted by the infernal tones that would be sending us off to our next call.
So,
we mark
saved
route.
by the bell?
Yeah. Like damned by the bell. So we mark en route, eager to bust through the call so we can get back to the station to eat. Dispatch tells us to respond to a patient that has ridden his bicycle into the back of a parked SUV.
Ooh. Yeah, that's dangerous. Gotta watch out for those things that sneak up on you.
Yep. It's true. Well, at least it should be a quick turnaround that way. So when we roll up on the scene, right behind a fire truck, and my hopes are immediately squashed. As I peer around the fire truck, I see what could have been a scene from the Walking Dead TV show. I see a man standing in a pool. Yes, a pool of his own blood, which is running down his shirtless paunch from his face and head. His nose is gashed open, some cuts on his head and arms. Oh, and also his half-open mouth, which is now a plus sign.
That is Halloween costume figured out for the year.
Yeah, buddy.
Yeah.
Wow.
So it's a horizontal line that is his mouth, and the vertical line is the open laceration going from his nostrils to his chin, giving us a good look at the spaces in his gum line that were home to the teeth that he owned up until he pile drove his face through the back window of an SUV. Blood everywhere.
Oh my God.
All over him, all over the ground, everywhere. And it's still pouring from his face. The rear window of the SUV is shattered, and his bicycle now has a D-shaped front tire. Well, we do our thing. Bandages, wraps, spinal immobilization, blah, blah, blah. It's the first really emergent call we've run all day, and I boogie us down to the ER. After we transfer the patient care to the hospital, I go out to inspect the damage in the back of the truck. Not too bad, like cleaning it up, blood and guts and stuff.
The lip print, like when a girl kisses you with lipstick, except it's a nice bloody plus sign. Yeah.
It's not too bad.
Hold on.
Not great,
Real quick. Do you are EMS guys the ones that have to clean up the scene? Like if there's blood and stuff there, are you guys the ones that have to clean that up?
No, we're not. We don't clean up the scene. We clean it, but I'm talking about the back of the truck after we drop the patient off at the hospital.
The ambulance, the back of the ambulance.
Oh,
okay,
I got you. There goes.
Sorry. Lots of translation.
I thought the way you said it, I thought you had gone back to where the accident happened and you're examining the SUV and cleaning it up.
No.
Like what?
We always call the ambulance the truck. Sorry. Some guys call it a rig. I don't like that. I like to call it a truck. Anyway, yeah. So cleaning up the back of the ambulance.
That's our bad. We're not eligible.
No, it's
far
not
less
bad.
of us noobs.
So let's see. So the back of the ambulance, not too bad, not great, but not too bad. The concern is that God knows what microscopic malevolence dwells in the depths of that party boy's juices. So the next hour is spent wiping the entire interior and all commonly touched surfaces outside the truck with wipes so stringent that they're literally known to cause cancer when making prolonged contact with bare skin. We call them cancer wipes. I take this time to reflect on how we rolled the dice and lost this time. It seems to go that way more often than not, or it seems to go that way more often than not. My partner finishes up with her report information that she needs and comes out to help him clean up and put the truck back together. When we finally finish, we climb back into the truck, me in the driver's seat, my partner riding shotgun. We take a long, exhausted sigh of relief and say, he should have listened. Let's go eat. So, yeah, I think, I don't know if I made the connection, but that was the same guy, right?
Yeah.
When we went back out there. So, the lesson learned was don't take the time off. Don't take the easy out when the guy says, nah, I'm good. I don't need to go to the hospital. Just take him.
Well, on the plus side, At least, nah, there is no plus side except for his mouth. So yeah, I thought it'd be a good pun, but I couldn't finish it.
I'm just more baffled right now. How fast did he have that bike going?
Dude, it was
it a hill?
It was going down a hill, and this guy, it was like, think
to
about
shatter the back glass. It's not like it's not like it's glass. It's
right.
It's like got a film polymer.
Yeah.
You know, so like when you hit it, like if a baseball hit it, it's not going to go through it. It's just going to hit it and it's going to splinter.
Yeah, just like that Tesla truck.
Right. Yeah. And that's what struck me though. It wasn't like wasn't a spider web. It wasn't a spider web. The glass was. I thought the window was down. It shattered the glass.
That's what I'm saying. How
and the guy went.
Was it a hill?
He was going down a hill on his bicycle, and you got to think like to take out an SUV back glass. I mean, he went just like you could tell just from his face and stuff. He shattered the glass, not like spiderwebbed it, shattered the whole back glass with his nose and his mouth, like with his face, just like that, straight into it.
No, he hit it with his chin. Let's just
it could be.
No, let's figure out the physics. He's going down a hill. You said the front tire was a D shape, which means he was going, say he probably hit 30 miles an hour. 30, because even pedaling really fast. Well, I just mean even pedaling really fast on a flat surface, you can only hit like 18.
Right.
Maybe 20.
It was a gentle hill, but it was a hill.
But a hill, you're going to add 5-10 miles an hour. Mm-hmm. So we'll just say he's doing 30. And then he hits the back of it, and it's just going to catapult him upward. Which is going to add an inertia.
I think what happened...
Right. 45, 50.
I think what happened is... Head roll. No, what I think happened is he was racing down that hill, and he was probably like, getting all up into that sport, just like straight up like that, right? So when his wheel hit, his arms instantly get pulled this way, which pull him down, and he went in head first, and his face drug across the shattered glass as he broke it, and that's what gave him the vertical at plus sign.
That very well could be. That very well could. Yeah, that would work.
I watched every season of Dexter, so I'm now a blood splatter analyst.
So did I. But I thought it was only from the nose to the chin.
The nose.
It was among other things. I mean, I'm sure he broke his nose.
The nose sticks out the furthest. That's what caught first.
But his lips were split open, which means he hit like this.
No, he was probably yelling like this. So if you look at the side profile, if you yell and you yell with your lips out like this, that's what happened. I know it.
Yeah, but from experience, he was drunk, so it was more.
Maybe what actually split him wasn't the rear window, but the rear window wiper that was like stuck in the kitchen and it ground down his face.
That could be. Maybe there was somebody in the SUV that was backing out as he was going down the hill. And as he went through the back glass, they just went, oh, fuck. Put it in park and went back inside. Because that's what I had done.
I'm out of here.
I'd have gone back in and I'd have just picked up the phone and I'd have called 911. Yeah, my car was parked and somebody just rode their bike into it.
Yeah, could you imagine being the person that just walked out and saw some dude sticking out of the back of your Suburban? just head first. Like, dude, seriously? What the heck is going on here?
Hospital. Oh, man. Well, y'all had enough fun for one night, boys?
Yeah, I think that about does it.
Y'all got anything else?
You can't fix stupid.
That's the takeaway, ultimately. Well, so this is the end, but only for one episode. The actual end has only just begun. Omega Dude's out.